Welcome to AminAcademy.com. In history of Muslim world regarding Abbasid dynasty, let us discuss about Caliph Abu Jaafar al Mansur. After the death of Abu Abbas, his brother Abu Jafar ascended the throne in AD 754. Jafar, who also was a mighty and powerful prince like Abu Abbas, it was during his reign that the foundation of a new capital were laid at Baghdad. From the time of Muawiyah till now, Damascus had been the capital city of the caliphs. But Mansur looked with deep suspicion upon the people both of Iraq and Syria, and finding the Persian Empire was daily growing in power, he thought it best and most prudent to remove the capital from Damascus. The new capital was adorned and beautified in order to keep up partially at least the ancient glories of Nineveh and Babylon. Under the rule of Mansur, the glory of Baghdad spread far and wide all over the world. In order to increase his military power and gain new recruits for the Islamic army, Mansur held both various allurements before the hardy military tribes of Turkestan. He induced many Persians of rank also to leave their native country and enter his service. A rebellion broke out in Africa during his reign, and from this time forward, Africa ceased to be regarded as part of the Muslim empire. Spain also broke away from the empire under the new caliph of Cordoba. Mansur was frequently employed in waging war against the Greeks. In one of his expeditions, he was accompanied by two of his female relatives, the Emperor Constantine, and advanced against him with a large army but was unable to attack his forces. In AD 775, Mansur started on the Hajj pilgrimage, but he was attacked with dysentery on the way and fell a prey to death in the 65th year of his life. His dead body was taken to Mecca and buried there with the due ceremonial. He was a man of great industry, indomitable firmness of character, and considerable proficiency in the art of diplomacy. He sought always and by every means to promote the peace and happiness of Muslims. After his death, he was succeeded by his son Mahdi. Now, little further about Mansur. Al-Mansur, born 709, Al-Ḥumaymah, Syria, died October 7, 775, near Mecca. He was the second caliph of the Abbasid dynasty, generally regarded as the real founder of the Abbasid caliphate. He established the capital city at Baghdad. Al-Mansur was born at Al-Ḥumaymah, the home of the Abbasid family after their emigration from the Hejaz. His father, Muhammad, was a great-grandson of Abbas. His mother was a Berber slave. Shortly before the overthrow of the Umayyads, the first dynasty of the caliphs, by an army of rebels from Khorasan, many of whom were influenced by propaganda spread by the Abbasids, the lost Umayyad caliph Marwan II arrested the head of the Abbasid family, Al-Mansur's brother Ibrahim. Al-Mansur fled with the rest of the family to Kufa in Iraq, where some of the leaders of the Khorasanian rebels gave their allegiances to another brother of Al-Mansur, Abu al-Abbas al-Saffah. Ibrahim died in captivity. Al-Saffah was the first Abbasid caliph. Because of his brother died in 754, after only 5 years as caliph, it was upon Al-Mansur that a main burden of establishment, the Abbasid caliphate, fell. al-Mansur had played an important part in wiping out the last remnants of Umayyad resistance. During his brother's caliphate, he led an army to Mesopotamia, where he received the submission of a governor after informing him of the death of the last Umayyad caliph. In Iraq itself, the last Umayyad governor had taken refuge with his army in a garrison town, promised a safe conduct by al-Mansur and the caliph. He surrendered the town only to be executed with a number of his followers. A danger to al-Mansur's caliphate came from the number of revolts by ambitious army commanders. The most serious of these was the revolt in 754 of al-Mansur's uncle, Abdullah, who thought he had better claims to the caliphate than his nephew. The danger was only averted with the help of Abu Muslim, one of the chief organizers of the revolt against the Umayyad. Al-Mansur was largely responsible for cutting the Abbasids free from the movement that had brought them to power. While his brother was still caliph, Al-Mansur was involved in the murder of several leading persons in the movement. Upon becoming caliph himself, one of his first acts was to bring about the death of the man who had helped him become caliph, Abu Muslim, become caliph Abu Muslim. This act served both to remove potential rivals and to dissociate with Abbasids from their extremist supporters. Perhaps in reaction to this policy, a number of revolts broke out in which some of the pre-Islamic religions of Iran were involved. In 755 in Khorasan, a certain Sanbad, described as a Magi, here probably meaning as followers of the Mazdakite heresy, not an orthodox Zoroastrians, revolted, demanding vengeance for the murder of Abu Muslim. Another group connected with the name of Abu Muslim, the Ravandiya, was charged with belief in the transmigration of souls of holding al-Mansurs to be their god. Because of these excesses, al-Mansur had to suppress them, probably in 757 to 758. Finally, in 767, al-Mansur had to put down another revolt in Khorasan, the leader of which was accused of claiming to be prophet. Probably the most frustrated of those who had worked against the Umayyad were those who had believed they were fighting for a leader from among the descendants of the Prophet Muhammad's closest male relative, Ali. When it became clear that the Abbasids had no intention of handing over power to an Alid, this group again moved into opposition. Al-Mansur's consequent harsh treatment of the Alids led to a rebellion in 762-763, which was quickly put down. Al-Mansur's achievement, however, was not based simply upon military power. His most lasting monument is the great city of Baghdad, upon which work began at his command in 762. The decision of build Baghdad was probably partly due to the restlessness of the chief town in Iraq, Basra, and especially Kufa, but in part too, it was a statement by al-Mansur that the Abbasids had come to stay. It was significant that he considered taking some material for the construction of Baghdad from the ruins of Ctesiphon, the capital of the lost native Iranian dynasty. Another reason for the construction of the new capital was the need to house the rapidly growing bureaucracy developed by al-Mansur under the influence of Iranian ideas in an attempt to provide a more stable basis for Abbasid rule. By these political and military measures, al-Mansur firmly established the Abbasid caliphate. Furthermore, he arranged the succession in favor of his son al-Mahdi, and every future Abbasid caliph could trace his descent directly to al-Mansur. Al-Mansur is described as a tall, lean man with a brown complexion and sparsy beard. There are a number of anecdotes designed to illustrate the simplicity of his life, his tight-fistedness, his love of poetry, and his objection to music. He died in 775 on his way to Mecca to perform the pilgrimage and was buried near the holy city. So far we discussed about Abbasid Caliphate al-Mansur. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.